Tonight is basically to go over the arena tournament conditions for the II season. Um, these arena tournament conditions started back in May of last year. There were some ideas that were thrown around, and the arena rules subcommittee worked very hard in organizing and sorting some ideas that we've taken from other associations in terms of how they play arena polo, along with some original ideas of our own. And we ended up trying them in 4 different clinics in the fall of II last year. And we ended up surveying coaches and players, and ended up getting positive feedback on it. I believe the percentages were somewhere in the neighborhood of about 65%, somewhere around 25 or 30% against, and some people had no comment on it. And so with continuous work on it through various tournaments such as the Townsend Cup, and some other tournaments outside of II Polo, the Arena Rules Subcommittee tweaked some things, and we finalized things, and then we went to the NHTC, and the NHTC unanimously voted to use these tournament conditions for the 2017-18 season. And so that's what the webinar is about tonight. And one thing I'll say real quick before we get started, with that, this is basically a question and answer session regarding the arena tournament conditions and an explanation situation from my standpoint. We don't need to get into a lot of opinions about, whether you like them or not. This is what we're using. If you have an opinion, you're welcome to send it to me via email, but let's save the opinionated questions for a later date. This is basically, if you have a question about how one of these procedures plays out, you can either type it or you can ask a question online. You guys are all on mute. Just unmute your phone. If you have a question, I will ask you if there are any specific questions after each segment, and then we'll open up for general questions at the end of the discussion.
And just a reminder, this is going to be recorded, so if you guys want to share it with your teams afterwards, we will be putting it out for everyone to view.
Yes, please please, anybody that, teams that might be playing in your region or whatever, in terms of your relationships with those people, get it out to as many people as possible, because it's important. So let's dive in. Our first slide. Can everybody see? I hope everybody can see the slides okay. I know some of you might be on a phone. I would encourage you, if you are on a phone, to get a computer at a later date and go back and look at this webinar online, because I have a lot of diagrams and things like that and videos that you're going to see that you're not really going to be able to follow if you're on the phone. So, all right. Well, first of all, Rule 6. The tournament conditions have to do with Rule 6, 9, and 10. Okay, so we're just going to go through them one by one. Rule 6 scoring. Obviously, A, the team which scores more points shall win the game. Under 2, a ball hit from beyond the 25-yard line which scores directly or off the wall, but not off the, sorry, hold on just a minute. I was a little blocked out there. A ball hit from beyond the 25-yard line which scores directly or off the wall, but not off the roof structure, and without being touched by any mount or any player other than the one original hit by the striker, shall count 2 points unless it is hit by the striker into the goal his or her team is defending, in which case it shall count only 1 point for the other team. The actual 2-point score is just how it's been, except now that it's beyond the 25-yard line, not mid-arena. All of those other all those other examples of, the ball coming off the wall or hitting a roof structure, those have always been there. And the last part of that, I'll repeat it again, unless it is hit by the striker into the goal his or her team is defending, in which case it shall count only 1 point for the other team. So if you're defending if you're defending on your end and for some reason you're outside your own 25 and you are just outside the 25 and you hit a back shot and for some crazy reason it careens off your horse or what have you and it goes in your own goal, it is not 2 points. It is just 1 point. We almost had this happen in the Townsend Cup back in January, and it brought up the discussion of this, and the Arena Rules Subcommittee determined that the own goal would only be 1 point if it was outside of the 25. Okay? So that's pretty simple, and we have we determined that, we tried a little bit of this in the fall with the 25, the penalty 4 from the 25 being 2 points. It was determined by the Arena Rules Subcommittee that that was a little too harsh. So it is now 1 point, okay? Penalties 2, 3s, and 4s are all 1 point play. The ball has to be behind the line in order for it to be a 2 point play, whether it be a penalty shot or a live hit, okay? Any questions on that? All right, let's move on. And actually I have a diagram for it. Red is, if you can see this, red is attacking the goal to the right. Any shot that is cleanly hit directly or off the wall behind the 25-yard line shall count as 2 points. Okay? I hope you guys like my little arena drawing. It took me a long time to write that, to draw that. So any questions on that, guys? It's pretty simple. It's, we're trying to hopefully have the kids shoot a goal more. We'll see what happens. So, so let's move on. All right, let's start discussing penalties. I'm going to kind of go through this part by part. We're going to start with Rule 9, Penalty 2. If you go to the next slide. Penalty 2, a free hit at the ball by the team fouled from a spot 15 yards in front of the center of the goal defended by the fouling teams. All players to be behind the point from where the free hit is made until the ball is hit or hit at, except one designated member of the fouling team who shall be placed along the end wall to the left or right of the goal, no closer to the goal than 10 yards from its edge or the corner of the arena, if the corner is less than 10 yards from the edge of the goal. I'm going to stop there because this is new. We decided as an Arena Rules Subcommittee that on penalty 2s, and this is also the case on penalty 3s, that in order for a faster play to occur, because now we are obviously playing, which I'll get to, we're playing the rebound with the defender having the first right to the ball, that it would be better to have a player either to the left or the right of the goal, no closer than 10 yards, one defender. All right. And if we can, I'm going to scroll to the next slide. You can see under this diagram, you can see under this diagram, if you see under this diagram, it says penalty 2. Basically going to repeat this. One player from the defending team may line up 10 yards at the end wall, either to the left or right of the edge of the goal. Also, if there isn't 10 yards in length on either side of the goal, then the player may line up in the corner of the arena. I don't think we have a lot of arenas that don't have 10 yards, but we put that in there just in case. On either side of the goal. So that player or any other player may not make a play on the ball until it rebounds off the wall. One of the things that I have gotten some questions about was, well, if this player is lining up 10 yards either side, can he run out and defend a penalty 2 or a penalty 3? The answer is no. It is still an undefended penalty shot even though there's a player 10 yards to the left or the right of the goal. If, I'll try to relate this to the outdoor where on a penalty 2 or a 3, if it's undefended, you have a player outside of the goalpost. As long as they're 30 yards away. Well, this is kind of the same idea. It's just you're allowed one player to the left or right of goal, and the idea is for that player to be able to make a play. Now, that player doesn't necessarily have to make a play, depending on how far the ball bounces back. One of the other players can, but at least there's a player down there to be ready to make a play if the ball rebounds off the end wall. Okay. And can we slide this? How do we slide?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is actually a still. This is not a video. This is a still of what it looks like. The number 3 in gray is taking, I believe that's a penalty 3. But it's the same idea with the 2 and the 3. And you can see the white player to the right of the goal, hopefully 10 yards. He looks a little close, but that's the general idea. And the player in gray has that shot if he scores. Obviously we go back to center. If the ball comes off the wall, I will get into that procedure here in just a minute, but he's there. Okay? Any questions on penalty 2 or 3 position? Okay, let's go back to
Bradley.
Yep.
A question: the defender lined up 10 yards to the side of the goal, and the hitter on the penalty 4, 3, 2, whatever, cranks the ball and it hits that defender 10 yards away from the goal. How do we proceed?
The penalty 2 or 3. Now penalty 4 is a little different, and I'll get into that. But penalty 2 or 3, if the guy cranks it and hits it, and it hits the player's horse that's over there, that is treated just like a rebound off the end wall. Okay,
Copy.
so that player will still have the first play to the ball. All right, because he's just standing there, and if the player hitting the penalty shot hits it that poorly to the right or to the left, then we have to give the right. I mean, the guy's just standing there, and therefore it's treated just like the rebound off the end wall. Okay.
Copy.
All right, I got a question. I have another question on the chat line. Can the defender hit the ball before it hits the wall? Yes, they can. I wouldn't advise it because as I'm going to get into it, it's your one play because if the ball does not travel to the wall, then it's treated just like we've always done it. It's a free hit for the other team, 5A. And so, but yes, they can. But that will be their play on the ball, as I will explain in just a minute. Second question I got was, what's the procedure if a horse spooks or distracts the hitter during the process of attempting the penalty shot? It will be if that occurs, it'll be a rehit for the fouled team. Okay, which is no different than what we do in the outdoor if there's any kind of thing like that. Oh, and you put never mind. Okay, well, that's okay. I answered it anyway. All right, the next question I got is if the player hitting the penalty shot misses, but the defender was obviously too close to the goal, is it a missed execution on the defender and a rehit? Yes. Yes, if he's too close to the goal, yes. And I got no problem with the umpires being, obviously saying 10 yards from the left to the right to the goal. I would, if I was a player, if I was a player down there, I'd actually check with one of the umpires to make sure I'm good. You're 10 yards away. We're not going to go out of our way and tell you you're not, but I think that would be a wise decision. Any other questions on a penalty 2 or penalty 3 position? Okay, let's go back to slide, the penalty 2 slide we're going to go back to. All right, so all right, so we covered the first part being, 10 yards from the edge of the goal. If you can follow with me just past that, it says no opponent shall be within 5 yards of the player making the hit. Well, that's always been the case. If the ball is hit wide of the goal and the rebound is within 25 yards of the end wall, only the fouling team may play the ball, but it must do so immediately, and no member of the fouled team shall affect that play. And in green, as used in the prior sentence, the word immediately means within 5 seconds of the rebound, and the phrase affect that play describes conduct that includes but is not limited to being within a 5-yard radius of the designated player's play on the rebound. All right, so let's slide forward to my diagram. I believe it's like 3. Here, I'll do it. All right, if a penalty 2, if you guys are looking what I'm looking at, if penalty 2 is hit and miss, the defending team has 5 seconds to get to the ball and play it, and the foul team must be 5 yards away and may not affect that first play. The defending team's right to the first play goes to the 25-yard line. If the rebound is past the 25, live ball after the first play is made by the defending team, live ball. So if you look at the diagram, the ball has been hit to the right, bounced off the wall. I put the yellow player on the opposite side. No reason, just showing the example. Once the ball hits off of the end wall, the 5-second time starts. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. We as an Arena Rules Committee decided that 5 seconds was ample time for one of those players on the defending team to get to the ball. And so the player goes to the ball. The player that hit the ball or any other player on the team that was fouled can come inside the 15, but they have to be 5 yards away from that defender making that first play, and they cannot affect it. And affecting it basically means blocking. Okay, that's what it means. If the player has an avenue to play polo and you park right in front of him, or if you try to ride into a swing or attempt to hook, that's a penalty. And that penalty more than likely, actually not more than likely, the penalty will be awarded, and what penalty will be awarded will be a center hit 5B. Now, if the player affects the play and literally parks in the right and parks in front of the defender making the play, and a horse, there's a T-bone or something like that, it could be moved up. So basically the fouled team, when they hit the ball and they miss, they have to give the first play to the fouling team, defending team, to make that one play. And let's say that the fouling team, the guy in yellow, goes to the ball and his horse kicks it. Well, that's a live ball. Well, that's his first play. Okay, that's a little different than what we just said about the 2s and the 3s. So actually, no, it's not. I take that back. It's actually, if he goes to the play, if it's hit at him, and it bounces off on a 2 or a 3, that's a rebound off the end wall. But if he goes to a ball and he attempts to make a play on the ball and his horse kicks it, that's his first play. Okay. All right. We have some questions while I'm talking about this. If a player who is by the end wall goes to the ball, as in this diagram, and misses ball, it is a live ball. That is correct. Yes. That is making a play on the ball. If you swing and miss, that's making a play on the ball. And the next question, based on your picture, is not the player crossing the line. Well, because the defender has the first right to the ball, the line or the right-of-way is not established until the defending player makes that first play. So there is no line or right-of-way until that defender makes that first play. Okay? Now, the second part of this is the defending team's right to the first play goes to the 25-yard line. So if the ball careens off the end wall and it stays within the 25, the defending player still has that first right to that play. Okay? Once it goes out, if it bounces off hard enough and goes outside the 25, the direction of the ball and the direction of the players going to the ball, all lines and right-of-ways are picked up if it goes outside the 25. Okay? So it's an interesting play because you're hitting a penalty 2 from the 15, but yet the defending team has right to the ball up until the 25. So it might be a different way to position it if you're a coach of how you're going to position your players. So I have another question. So question 1, so any defending player can make the first play on the rebound. Yes, that is correct. Then there can't be any write-offs by the hitting team before the first play is made. That is correct. That is correct. They're allowed the first play. Once they make the first play, and like I said, the first play can be a tap, a full swing, but once that one play is made, it's game on. So it's live ball, right-of-ways pick up, line of the ball picks up, and the team foul can come in and defend closer than 5 yards. All right? Any other questions on that? Okay. I'm going to go back to the penalty 2 description again. Yes, 5 seconds is all we get. Yes, I mean, as I counted it, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. We believe that it was ample time to be able to get to the ball. In the testing that we did with the various tournaments around the country, I have not seen that particular thing violated. Okay. All right, and going in blue here under penalty 2, if a member of the foul team affects that play, the umpires may award a center hit or more severe penalty. I went over that. If the fouling team does not play the ball immediately, the umpire shall stop play and another free hit shall be granted. The team fouled is called for in the original penalty 2. So if you don't get there within the 5 seconds, it's a re-hit for the team that was fouled. All right? If the penalty shot rebounds off the wall and travels farther than the 25-yard line, the ball becomes live for The ball becomes live for both teams and all right-of-way rules apply. We went over that. If the ball is hit on the penalty shot over the end wall and out of play, the umpire shall award the fouling team a free hit from no closer than 5 yards to the end wall as in a penalty number 5A. If the goal is scored directly from the mallet of the hitter, it shall count as 1 point. Play shall continue in the event no goal is scored on the free hit. For those of you that play in arenas that actually have end walls with a limit on their height where the ball actually goes out, if you hit a penalty 2 and you hit the ball out of the arena over the end wall, it is a spot hit for the defending team, as it says here, as in a penalty 5A. Okay? And I'll keep explaining that as we keep going. I have one question. Oh, sorry. I have one question. If they don't hit it within 5 seconds, then the previously fouled team gets a shot from the same. Yes, it's a re-hit. It is a re-hit. So, oh, sorry, guys. Okay. Let's move forward. Penalty 2. That's the lineup. Penalty 2 hit and missed. All right, we're up to penalty 3. Guys, this is basically the same. I'm not going to go through this line by line. It's the same. Penalty 3 from the 25. It's an open goal. It's the same idea all the way across the board. 10 yards from the edge of the from the edge of the goal. 5 and 5. This is penalty 3. It's penalty 3. Can everybody see this? Hope so. Okay.
Oh, just kidding.
Oh. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Oh, sorry.
You're good.
But penalty 3 is the same as penalty 2 is, guys. It's just being from the 25 versus being from the 15 with everything that we just talked about. And I think I showed the diagram once again. Penalty 3, same as penalty 2. One defender can be 10 yards to the left or right of the end wall to the edge goal. The ball must rebound off the wall before the defending team can play the ball. And actually, that kind of contradicts if the player, if the ball does hit towards the player, they can play it. I wouldn't advise it, but I'd wait for the rebound or wait for the ball to stop to get a free hit. But they can play it. I apologize for that, guys. That one sentence isn't correct. All right, let's move on to the next one. Same thing. It's just the same still. Once again, this actually is a penalty 3. Once again, so everybody can see that the player is 10 yards to the right of the goal. And so that's where they are. That's where they can line up. And the player is taking a penalty shot from the 25. Open goal. All right, any questions on penalty 2s or 3s? Nope. Okay. All right, let's move on. This is a video that we have. This is the penalty 3 miss first play. I'm going to let this play. All right, if you see this play right here, if you can see it, the ball is bounced off the end wall. Black number 3 is coming in to make a play on the ball. The fouled player comes in, but he's well within 5 yards away. From this angle, it does not look like he's blocking directly in front, and the player is able to get a shot off going down the arena. All right?
Question?
Everybody can see that, I hope. Okay, we have a question.
Yeah, Bradley, if that hitter playing the ball off the rebound on the wall, the defending hitter, cranks that ball and he hits the player on the gray horse, are you going to give him a 5?
If the player's not directly in front, no, because he had an avenue to play polo and he had an avenue to hit the ball.
Okay, got a big enough window.
Yeah, if you had a big enough window, and I mean, we have to give some sort of right to the team fouled of coming in within, if they're 5 yards to the left or 5 yards to the right, and there's an avenue for the defender to go and hit the ball or run with the ball, and they hit it into his horse, hit it into the foul team's horse. No foul. No foul.
That looked borderline 15 feet from the hitter also. Is a little bit tight. That's why it's kind of curious how we're going to call that.
No, that's 5 yards. He was 5 yards. I could say
that really tight. I got you.
Yeah. So, we had another question. Can the defender in the 2 or the 3 run in front of goal to block the ball after it is hit? I assume No. This is what we just talked about. No, this is not. This is an undefended penalty shot. Okay, this is an undefended penalty shot. The defender that's 10 yards to the left or the right has to let the ball either A, hit the end wall. If it comes right at him, he can hit it, but he cannot attempt to defend the penalty shot. As I said before, it's just like a penalty 2 or 3 outdoor undefended where a guy's outside of the goalpost, but you can't do anything to it. So, so the answer is no. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right. Penalty 4. Penalty 4 is a little different. Okay. I'll just walk through this. A free hit at the ball by the team foul from a spot 25 yards in front of the center where the goal is defended by the fouling team. All players to be behind the point from where the free hit is made until the ball is hit or hit at, except one designated member of the fouling team, which may be placed within a 5-yard arc of the goal. We've always been able to do that. No opponent shall be within 5 yards of the player making the hit. That's how it's always been. In red, if the defender in goal blocks the ball with his mallet, body, or horse, the ball becomes live for both teams and all right-of-way rules apply. So if the player is in the goal mouth and he blocks the ball, as it says, with any part of his horse, body, or mallet, the right-of-ways and the line of the ball is picked up immediately. That is considered the first play for the defender. Okay. If the ball is hit wide of the goal and the rebound is within 25 yards of the end wall, only the fouling team may play the ball, but it must do so immediately, and no member of the fouled team shall affect that play. That's just like what we went over with the 2s. The rest of it is like what we just went over with the 2s and the 3s. It's the same thing, that if the ball bounces off the wall, it's basically a 5-and-5 rule is what I call it. It's 5. You have to be 5 yards away. The foul team has to be 5 yards away, and the defending team has 5 seconds to play the ball. Everything else is the same. Also on the penalty 4, if you play in an arena that does not have that has an end wall and the ball can go out, if the ball goes out over the end wall, it will be a free hit for the defending team, as in a 5A. All right. Remember now on the penalties 2s, 3s, and 4s, because we've talked about all these penalty shots, if they go out of the arena over the end wall, they are a penalty 5A for the defending team. If you are playing if it's during live play and the ball hits out over the end wall, or ball is hit out over the end wall, it is still a throw-in. No closer than the 15. Okay. So penalty shots over the end wall, free hit for the other team. Live play, ball goes over the end wall, bowling on the 15, depending on the side where it went out. All right. Let's go to the next slide. It says if the defender in goal blocks the ball with his mallet, body, or horse on penalty 4, the ball becomes live for both teams and all right-of-way rules apply. This diagram's a little vague. I hope to God 3 people all at once don't go after one person. So, but I was just making the generalization that it is considered a live play if it comes off their mallet, body, or horse. Next slide. Oops, sorry. Next slide. This is a penalty 4 deflection live ball. White number 2 hits it. Player deflects it. It's a live play. That white player attempted to go in and make a hook, and game on. So show it one more time. Everybody can see it. Defender in the goal mouth blocks it with his mallet, takes off. But that is a live play. That was considered his first play. Okay? I did have a question going back to penalty 2s and 3s. Is it correct that the right-of-way rules do not apply on penalties 2 and 3? They do not apply on penalties 2, 3, or 4 for the first play for the defender. Okay, if it goes off the end wall. On penalties 2 and 3, you are absolutely correct. The first play, there is no right-of-ways. The only way that on a penalty 4, if the right-of-way rules apply, is that if it deflects off of the player's body, mallet, or horse. The other thing, guys, when you're thinking about these 2s, 3s, and 4s, you know, and this is, I'm just thinking kind of like a coach would think, is that there really is no sense of misexecutions of guys guys and girls jumping the line, because now with the defender having the first right to the ball, there's really no sense in jumping the line. Question is, are they now going to be chalk lines 5 yards away from each side of the goal? No, that is going to be the umpire discretion, plus it's not 5 yards, it's 10 yards from each side of the goal. But that will be, as I said before, it would be prudent to make sure to check with the umpires to make sure that on 2s and 3s you are 10 yards away from either the left or right of the goal. Actually, everybody, I want to go back to this slide real quick. If you look at my diagram that I drew of an arena, this is probably how, or this is actually how I would line the arena for all you people that have arenas. You know, you put the line all the way across the 25, you still have your line on the 15. If you want to put in the 5-yard arc, you're welcome to. You know, sometimes I see that, sometimes I don't see that, but there's no need in putting a line all the way across the mid-arena anymore. It can just be a T, because now we've obviously moved up the 2-point penalty line to the 25. Okay? That's how I'd line it. All right, let's go forward. All right, we did live ball deflection. This next diagram is basically saying what I just said regarding the 2s and 3s. The foul team misses a penalty shot. The fouling team has the first play and 5 seconds to make a play on the ball, while the fouling team can be no closer than 5 yards and not affecting the first play. The fouling team has up to the 25-yard line for that free hit. If the ball bounces outside of the 20-yard line, 25, all right away, all ROW rules and LOB, I should have added, apply. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Penalty for first play. We had a question, but the club, school, arena owner could choose to mark the 10 yards with a marker tape on the wall. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good question, and absolutely. So they could. So if you guys want to, and you want to designate 10 yards left or right of the goal, if you want to put a piece of tape or line it on the wall, you're welcome to do that. I think from an umpire standpoint, we have a pretty good generalization of what 10 yards is. You know, we generalize 5 yards when the players are, you know, defending. So the edge of goal. The question was from the edge of the goal or the center. It is from the edge of each side of the goal, 10 yards, not from the center. All right, this is another video. This is a penalty for first play. I'm just going to let it play. Ball's bound, hit off to the right. Black player comes in and makes a back shot. That's a first play. That's just an example of a different play, but it was a different defender that hit it, because it was one of the defenders that was behind the 25, and he came in and made a back shot, and so that is technically their first play. Not technically, it's their first play. So for any, it might be a question. There's no saying that the defender that is in the goal or the defender on a 2 or a 3 that's beside the goal has to make that play. Okay, any player on that team, on that defending team, can make a play. If the ball bounces, you know, closer to a defending player that might be behind the 15 or the 25, then they can make that play. It's just the idea is for the defending team to have one player down in the vicinity of the goal, either defended or undefended, to be able to to make an attempt to get there, because it just might be a little quicker than somebody having to come from the behind the 25 or the 15, having to come down and turn and then go forward. All right. All right, we got an example of a misexecution on the team that was fouled. Once again, we have a penalty 4. It is missed. The defending team has the first right to the ball. The gray player does not. That ball was clearly inside the 25 based on where he hit it from. I actually think the player in question probably forgot, because we actually did move that back. And so now the umpires are going to move that play to the center, penalty 5B. See, dropped it at center. All right, I'll play it one more time. Ball bounces off. Player comes in, attempts to make a play. Fouled team. He is inside the 25. That is a miss. That is a penalty. And so it is a 5B center hit for the black team. This next diagram, if any penalty shot, this is what I've been talking about. If any penalty shot, 2, 3, 4, 5A, 5B is hit and the ball goes over the end wall. Spot hit penalty 5A for the defending team. Where the ball went out, I did not add that. I apologize. If the ball is hit over the wall during live play, it is a throw in on the 15 on the side where the ball went out. If there is a question on a penalty, believe it, if this ever comes up, if there's a question on a penalty 2, 3, or 4, say somebody really shanks it and it goes into the corner. If you're not 100% sure whether it went over the end wall or the side wall, I would side with the end wall and give the spot hit for the defending team. Okay, that would be a really, really pretty cruddy hit, though, if you hit it all the way in the corner. But we've all seen it. So this is just an example of the penalty shot going over the end wall. This is actually a penalty 5B from the center. See, the ball is hit and careens off a car into the street, and the other team is going to be awarded a spot hit as in a penalty 5A. And like I said, guys, this is for you guys that are playing in the outdoor arenas and even some of the indoor arenas that actually have a wall inside the arena. This will not pertain to some of the arenas we play in, but that's the procedure we're using. Okay, moving on. All right, we're going to talk about penalty 5s. All right. At the discretion of the umpire, a free hit at the ball. I'll answer the question in just a minute. At the discretion of the umpire, a free hit at the ball by the team fouled from the point of infraction. If 25 yards or more from the goal that the foul team is attacking, both teams shall position themselves anywhere in the arena except that no member of the fouling team shall be within 5 yards of the ball when the umpire calls play and the ball is hit or hit at. Okay. So we still have our penalty 5B from the center. What we've added is, instead of all fouls for the attacking team being moved, if a foul occurs between mid-arena and the attacking team's 25-yard line, instead of moving every foul to the 25 and making it an automatic penalty 4, we will now have spot hits in between mid-arena and the 25. Okay, and it's a penalty. It's a penalty spot hit is penalty 5A. But the same positioning is going to apply to a spot hit penalty inside mid-arena. Inside mid-arena as it was at mid-arena or on the opposite side. And in red it says no player may line up in the right of way unless at a minimum of 16 yards from the ball. That is of the hitter. Okay, that's between where the hitter is hitting the ball and the mouth of the goal, because we all know that basically the line of the ball starts. The line of the ball when the ball is hit or hit at in the arena is the line and right of way are established from the point where the ball is to the center of the goal. So as we did on center hits and spot hits behind the mid-arena line, no player could line up directly in front unless they were 16 yards away. This is even with the spot hits. You might have a spot hit. You may have a spot hit 35 yards away from the goal, but it still applies that no player may line up directly in front closer than 16 yards. Okay, and the idea with that, everybody, is that the ticky-tack fouls that sometimes happen in the lineup where there's really no advantage, or it's going straight to the wall where there's really no advantage. I mean, we've always moved it up to a penalty 4, and this way we are kind of trying to fit the crime with the foul, allowing a spot hit versus taking everything to a penalty 4. Okay? And it counts as 2 points because it is behind the 25. There has been some question of, well, I'd rather have a spot hit than a penalty 4 because it's 2 point versus 1 point. Well, we kind of run into the same thing when we have a foul that occurs just beyond mid-arena for an attacking team on their own side, where we have to move a ball from a penalty, from what could be, how the old rule was, what could be a potential 2 point play at mid-arena versus moving it to a penalty 4, which would be the natural progression of moving the ball. But that's new. Spot hits from inside, and that's, once again, that's umpire's discretion. Any questions on that? I had one question. If the ball hits anything on its way out over the end wall but still goes out over the end wall, it's then a throw in. Yes. If the ball is deflected by a defender and it goes out, it would be a throw in. Yes. We don't have safeties yet in the arena, so. All right, moving forward. Take that off. This is just the diagram for that. If a minor foul occurs between mid-arena and the 25 for the red team, a penalty 5A may be awarded. The defending team may not line up closer than 16 yards directly in front of the hitter to the goal. That's pretty, sorry, my diagram may not be 100%, but that's the idea, as being directly in front. Okay, no closer than 16 yards. All right. So basically, we have a summation. This is kind of a summation of everything, guys. Number 1, 2 points from beyond the 25-yard line. Number 2, any shot on the 25-yard line or inside shall count as 1 point. Penalties 2, 3s, and 4s count as 1 point. Number 3, penalties 2s, 3s, and 4s. Defending team has first right to the rebounded ball. Number 4, 5 and 5 rule. Defender has 5 seconds to play the ball. Fouled player must be 5 yards away. Number 5, the ball rebounds on a 2, 3, or 4 past the 25-yard line. Live ball and LOB and right away are established. Number 6, ball hit over the end wall on any penalty shot. Spot hit, as in a 5A, 5 yards from the end wall for the opposing team. Number 7, 5A for attacking team. Between mid-arena and the 25, defenders must be 5 yards away, and no defender can be closer than 16 yards between the goal and the hitter. That's a summation of everything that I've talked about. It's, it sounds like a lot, guys, but I think after, once we get a game or two on it, you get a game or two with it under your belt, it'll make sense. I'm obviously available at any point in time by email or by phone to answer any of your questions. But now I'm actually going to open up the floor to questions right now. And I actually already got some coming in. Do penalty ones on a 2-point shot count as a penalty two? Yes. Yes, it's the same procedure. It's just like what we had in the old procedure with mid, if a foul occurred when the ball was going in, somebody hit it from beyond mid-arena, you do have a 2-point penalty one, yes. What if I had another question, what if they're not 4 yards away? I'm assuming it's 5 yards away. Do I get more time? Yes. Well, you'll actually, yes. If the player's not 5 yards away and and that's, if he's not 5 yards away, he's affecting your play. So either there might be a little more time given or a penalty given, center hit, 5B for your team. So they have to be 5 yards away. Okay. On a 2 or 3, a slow roller to goal cannot be intercepted by the defending team. No.
Great. Anyone else have a question before we wrap up?
Well, guys, I want to thank everybody for getting on. This is obviously new. I know how sometimes we are all kind of susceptible, wondering change and how it will affect our game. I think that I will give one opinion of mine, that I hope that hopefully we can have a little bit more fun with the kids and eliminate some fouling and have everybody shoot a goal, being that there's a greater opportunity at the 25. It's just outside the 25 versus mid-arena. But like I said, I'm welcome to any emails or phone calls. This is going to be a work in progress. I'm going to probably have a meeting with the II umpires next week just to go over this and any questions they might have. But good luck to everybody, and hopefully we will see you in the arena soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Bradley. That was great. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.